Hi everyone, it's your boy Ricky here with Romero Cards for Trinity Stamps, and I am so excited because now I'm a part of their design team. I will be making a card using their latest release, which came out in June, and I'm going to be making this guy. Now, I really wish I would have made this for Pride Month, but it's in July. I kicked myself in the booty. Should have made it for last month, but that's okay. But we're going to be making this lovely boy. Check him out. Woo! We're going to be using the latest products. We got our rainbow fish, y'all. We got some fake color seaweed. We got some bubbles. We got all the things here. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, click that bell, and share this video. So anyway, let's get started making the card. See you there. Okay, so the products we're going to be using to make this card are the glossy holographic enamel dots. We're going to be using the Friend Fish die set, along with the Jellyfish Wish stamp set, some different colored versions of holographic paper here that I had in my stash, some black paper, and then at the end we're going to be using the ribbon curls and foil set. That was something that I decided to use in the middle of this video. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and get this little guy cut out here. Now we're going to cut him out of all these different colors, and I'm going to be doing some paper piecing. So in order to do that, I have some double-sided adhesive here, super strong adhesive, and I'm just going to place that on the back of my holographic paper here. We'll cut that out, and we'll just cut out all the edges along the side just so that it doesn't get really stuck in the die cutting machine, because you don't want the adhesive to get stuck onto your plates if you can help it. Okay, now that we have that done, we are going to go ahead and get the mini die cutting machine here, and we are going to cut this guy out of all of these colors, rainbow colors. So I did like Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. And we're no indigo, just violet. And so we'll put him through the die cutting machine. He fits just perfectly for this mini die cutting machine, so that's great and fantastic here. We're just going to run it through a few times just to make sure that everything has cut through. And we're going to take a blunt object here. I'm going to use the scissors. You can use a pencil, whatever. And we're just going to touch him out there so that none of the pieces come out. They all stick together on one sheet. So here I am with a sharper pair of scissors, just barely touching it down just to get it out of the die. Now we will do this out of all the colors. I'm going to show that to you here. I guess I'm getting them in order. There we go. So we have all that going on there. And now we're going to cut the fish or the outline out of some black paper here. So we will go ahead and run him through the die cutting machine so that we can get that cut through. I did put a extra piece of paper in there as a shim because this is thicker black cardstock, and I just wanted to make sure that it cut all the way through, and it was not a problem. I'm just poking out all the scales here, and we're going to place him on top of a white piece of paper. So I'm just using some adhesive strips here, or a roller or a runner as one would call it. And we're going to place it down onto the white cardstock. I'm not going to press it all the way down because we need to make sure that the black fin or that the fins fit on here. And the back tail, there's a little curve to it. So we just want to make sure that we have that put in place so that it just works. I'm going to use my little pick here from Trinity Stamps to get it all lined up just to make sure that it fits in perfectly, and I can adjust the fin tail here so that it touches all parts of the fin. Now we're just going to do paper piecing, and all I'm doing is taking this first color here from the first row. I'm going to place it down onto the first row of the white cardstock. This is not hard at all. This is pretty much like a puzzle. I did have some issues with the adhesive sheet. The sticky part came off when I peeled it off, so I had to use some liquid glue to get that to stick on. I just put some Trinity glue into a little bottle and used it with a needle nose tip so that I could place that onto my cardstock. It didn't happen very often, but there's always liquid glue for you to be able to do that. And I'm just going to follow the same thing throughout the whole fish so that we could get him taken care of here. And there he is, all complete. Love it. Now we're going to fussy cut him out so that you cannot see any of the white. I tend to cut a little bit under the object so you can't see any of the white paper. And this is super thin white paper. It's just typing paper. Okay, now we're coming towards the end of getting him all cut out. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the shadow out of some vellum. I did that off camera here. But we're going to go ahead and place him down onto the vellum sheet. So we're going to use the Trinity glue here. And I put a little bit too much on there, so I just use my finger and I smooth it out so it's a little more coverage onto the fish. And we'll place him down onto his shadow there. And I'm going to place an acrylic block on top just so that we can get that weighted down and it dries and it's even and all that great stuff. Because, you know, we don't want them to be bubbly, you know, with the dents and stuff in them from the drying ink. Okay, so this was the afterthought. I decided to bring in the ribbon curls because I was like, oh, these would look really cool as seaweed. So I decided what I was going to do is take just a rainbow set of colors here, and I'm going to cut them out into strips. And then we'll run those through the die cutting machine just so that we can have some seaweed, you guys. It's not a hard process. We're just gonna take each one of these, cut a strip, and make sure that the ribbon fits on it. And then once we get all those colors cut out, we're just gonna place that onto the die cutting machine, and we will run that through to get all the seaweed pieces. And now that we have all the seaweed pieces cut out, we are gonna place some foam strip on the back of the fish because I want to give him a little dimension while he is on the card. And I just filled him up with some strips from Trinity Stamps. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Trinity Stamps glue and I'm going to place each one of these pieces of seaweed in quotation marks along the card. We'll get that nice and glued up, and then we will place them onto the black cardstock. This black cardstock really made all these colors pop, and I think that's why I really love this card. But I also just love the rainbow fish that's holographic. I think it's like super cool to see. All right, we're going to go ahead and put the last piece on here, and then we'll be done with the seaweed pretty much. There we go. We got that down. And then what I decided to do is just to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. I wanted there to be a border when I went to go place this onto the card. So basically all I'm doing is cutting, a 1/4 of an inch off of each side. Now I'm going to do some heat embossing. I am using the sentiment from Jellyfish Wish. I used some embossing ink, and we're going to pour some white embossing powder onto the card. And I probably should have done this before I did the seaweed because I take the risk of the powder sticking to the card. But, sometimes we make the wrong decisions. We're going to heat emboss this, basically AKA make some magic, because it's always magic when you do this. And now we'll go ahead and get this guy glued down onto the card base, and then we'll start putting the card together. I did have a little bit issue with some warping here, but we fixed that, and we're going to go ahead and place the fish on there. We're going to strategically place him on there. And then the card is pretty much complete. I am going to be adding some air bubbles here using the glossy holographic enamel dots, which I love. They're so great. And while we're doing that, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. This is my first design team video for Trinity Stamps. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you head over to Instagram and Facebook and check out everything that's Trinity Stamps. Click the links down in the description for the products that I use. And you can also check me out over on Instagram and find me on YouTube by searching for Bermero Cards. So here we go. We have the completed card. It's all shiny, it's rainbow, it's nice, it's full of color, it's on black cardstock, it's amazing. And then look at that shine. So thank you guys very much. You guys have a great week. Bye.